Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the MCC Coaches Show here from Pinson Courts Pub and Grill on Country 93.1. My name is Matt Chapkus, joined by the coach of the Crusaders, Steve Zerwan, and we were going to go right into last week's game a little bit, a 70-0 victory over Team TNT. And I guess we'll start with Coach. Your offense looked pretty good.
It did look good. You're up 42-0 in the first quarter. Everything you did, everything you drew up worked well. And quite frankly, we didn't know what to expect going into the game. We knew we definitely had an advantage talent-wise, but you got to consider TNT came off a win the week before, and they played a tough game in week 4 against Centerville. So we didn't know exactly what kind of opponent we were running into. So we drew some things up, and it just happened to be one of those weeks that the things you drew up, and the talent that you have were enough to be successful that night.
Now, Coach, this game had to be a challenge for you just a little bit. When you're up 42-0 at the end of one quarter, and they started running the clock actually in the second quarter, even though they're not supposed to till after halftime. But when you see that your team has a physical advantage like that, I think they had 3 or 4 players go out with injuries on top of everything else that's going on. You can't really tell your team to back off, but how did you handle a situation like that?
Well, the number one thing is you're concerned about your starters, making sure they get minutes, because we had the Grant week in week 3 where our starters didn't play a whole game, and then we had the Muskegon Heights game where they didn't play the whole game, and now another game where they didn't play the whole game. So from a coaching point of view, you're just one of the ways that you get in shape is to play football games. And your people that you're going to need, hopefully at the end of the season, week 9, week 10, week 11, as the season goes on, those are the people that need to start getting in shape right now. So, there's a concern as a coach that are your people on the first team really getting enough reps? But then you also balance that in your head versus, I'm up 35-0. I can't get somebody hurt who can't be hurt for us to be successful going forward. So I think as a coach, you're trying to balance both of those things. And, you just talk to your players about, a phrase we use, it's not our job to tackle ourselves. That's up to the opponent to do that. And, with that being said, you just go out no matter who's in to execute your job and to play hard. And, everything you do, make sure you do it with class. And, you never know in life when you're going to be on the other side of a kind of a tail kicking like that. So those are the kind of things you try to communicate with your team, and it ended up being 70-0. And, you don't feel good about a score being like that. But then, I get home and I'm looking through the scores the next day. I saw Mendon had won a game 70-0. I saw Beale City had won a game 77-0. So I guess that made me feel a little bit better that this is going around in some other places and it's not just us.
I took a look back for people from a historical perspective, and 70 points was not the school record. Tri-Unity in 2006, when they had the co-op with North Point, you won a game 75-7 against them. So the margin of victory was the largest in school history, but the point total was not the highest in school history.
I didn't know that. I thought it was probably close, but
it was close.
That's nothing that's on your mind as you're playing the game.
No, absolutely not. Why don't we just – I'm going to quick run down the scoring plays, and you can kind of tell us what broke down. Now, that first drive, it was basically a 2-play drive. It was a penalty, and then Alex Lewandowski, a 42-yard run. Yeah,
actually the play Alex worked on was I don't want to say it's a new play, but it was a little new wrinkle that we'd put in out of our stuff that we ran out of shotgun, and we ran a little trap play, and I can't remember who the H-back was in that play, if it was Ian Tyler, if it was Lamar Jordan, but one of them came down and kicked out as he was supposed to, and Alex with his speed was wasn't much of a match versus those Tri-Unity kids, and he ran 42 yards, and it was, again, you talk about you're drawing things up and you want things to look right and execute, and it was just a play that we executed well, no doubt about it.
That made it 7-0. About a minute and a half later, Nick Holt had a 19-yard run, and another Griffin Seymour kick made it 14-0.
Yeah, and actually that play with Nick, that was either the run or the second run where Nick actually didn't do exactly the right thing he was supposed to do. It was an option play, and if the guy comes down, you're supposed to kick it. But Nick kind of made a move on the guy, and it was one of the 2 runs that Nick had that were longer that he broke a run that he kind of did, I guess you would say fundamentally what we say not to do, But Nick's such a good athlete. Sometimes you do the wrong thing, it still works out good for you. And I think that was the situation on the 19-yard run there.
And then Tommy Scott got into the fun with a 10-yard run and another Griffin Seymour kick at 7:34, made it 21-0.
Yeah, Tommy, just a little pitch to the outside. It was a play that he had scored out at Grant, actually, same exact play, where he just gets a little pitch out of our tight formation, and Tommy caught it. And sometimes in that, we know there's going to be maybe one guy for the guy to beat. And, it's just really a play that we think that Tommy's got the skill set where if you put him one-on-one with a little bit of field, he'll make a move and do the right thing. And that was that's become a real nice goal line play for us, just kind of lining up in a tight formation and pitching it wide. And, Tommy's a real nice runner doing that. He's got a special ability for making one guy miss and scoring.
Then Alex Lewandowski, just moments later, had a 33-yard interception return that he took in for a touchdown.
Yeah, and it was that play looks like $1 million, and when you rewatch it, I mean, he catches the ball and he runs and he makes a few guys miss, and it was just a nice play. And Alex just sat in his zone that we were playing, and he was able to pick the ball off. Just a real nice play for him. And I just want to comment. I was at a little get-together last night, and the game happened to be on TV, and they were, we talking about the score and being 70-0. They had mentioned, your kicker made all 10 kicks, and yes. I said, yeah, we made all 10 kicks, and I mean that was something that, didn't dawn on me, but when you're, that's definitely a testament to Griffin, and those are points that you should convert. And, as a coach, you kind of take those for granted. But when you look back, making all 10 and executing the snap from Blake Sanford and the hold from Dominic Midkiff and, the ball going through the uprights, I mean, it's just and then you got the interior blocking. I mean, teams are trying to block those. And it's just wonderful that you convert 10 for 10 on a game like that.
Not only that, he had a couple of kickoffs that went for touchbacks. I think he had a couple more that probably should have been touchbacks.
I was watching the game last night, and somebody had said, your kicker do that every time? And I said, about every third time. I mean, he's got a nice, strong leg like that. He's, I think with any kind of kicker, you're trying to develop some kind of consistency. And I think as the season goes on, your leg tends to get a little stronger, and you tend to know where you can do and how you can, kick things. And that's definitely, a weapon. I was actually at the Notre Dame Oklahoma game this weekend, and I'm watching the game, and Oklahoma's putting every single kick through the end zone, and Notre Dame's starting every drive at the 20, and then I'm watching Notre Dame kickoff, and Oklahoma's starting every drive at the 40 because they're getting nice returns and they're catching the ball at the 10, and that's quite a weapon when you have somebody who can make the team go 80 yards versus make a team go 60 yards, no doubt about it.
We also gave him our player of the game for going 10 for 10 on the PATs.
He scored 10 points. That's pretty good for a kicker. So, no doubt about it, with no field goal.
Absolutely. So good work by Griffin Seymour so far this season.